We're live! Yay! Math 75, mathematical analysis for business. I totally have not made this video already 5 times, but this time's for real. And this time is the perfect one. We're gonna keep this one for sure, no matter what happens. So strap in, guys. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. However, the actual topic is not bumpy at all. The actual topic is beautiful. And I assume while I'm babbling on, you've probably read all of this. I wrote a beautiful thing when I was thinking about it. And basically the idea is when I give you a problem where we look at a problem together and I say, you know, we're going to charge 8% compounded monthly, it's not actually going to end up being exactly 8% because of the compounding. There's a little bit of extra interest. And so someone had this bright idea at some point, I don't know who it was, and they said, wait, why don't we figure out exactly what that percentage is to make people understand what's actually happening? And everyone was like, wow, that's a great idea. And yet a lot more work to do. Okay, yay, let's do that. So we've got 2 different rates now that we're going to talk about. And you've heard me use the word before, I'm sure. But over here, I say there's a nominal rate. The nominal rate is the rate that we quote, 8%, before I tell you how it's compounded. Then there's the annual percentage yield, which is APY, which if you ever see like car commercials or other commercials that involve loans or financing, they'll say the APY. So they'll say 7%, but then they'll say 7.2% APY. And everyone's like, why is it suddenly jumping to a higher number? And the answer is that's taking into account the compounding. So this is how we compute that. It's fairly straightforward. Basically, to begin with, we're going to be doing this for looking at just 1 year to make it simpler. So you'll notice right there, when I say it's 1 year, that means t equals 1. So the t that would normally be in that compound interest formula is just a 1, so it's gone. Okay, that's the first thing. Then what we're going to do is we're going to remove the principal, which is right here. We're going to take out the principal. And so there's no principal right there. Let me scooch up so you can see a little bit better. There's no principal sitting in front. And then we're going to subtract 1. Now, why in the world are we going to subtract 1? Well, remember what the 1 is there for. The 1 is there to say we're going to get interest and we're also going to get our money back. And we're not interested in the money back part for this. For this, we're just interested in the interest. So that's why we're subtracting the 1. We're not worried about the money back. So we calculate what happens, and then we take the 1 out, and that will leave us with just the interest. For continuous compounding, it's a little bit easier because the formula itself is simpler. All we do is remember t equals 1. So it's just e to the r, not e to the rt. And then we also subtract 1, right? In both cases, we are subtracting 1 so that we're looking at just the interest. Okay, let's calculate this. So APY, if it's 8% compounded annually, and I know the formula is kind of up high, so let me write it again so you guys can see it. It is APY equals 1 plus r over m to the mth minus 1. In our case, it's 1 plus 0.08. And then we are talking about, I'm finding a highlighter. We're talking about annually. This is going to be compounding annually. So our m is going to be 1. Ooh, see, I've learned how to defeat the smear monster is to do the highlighting first. Aha! So you can teach an old math teacher new tricks occasionally. This ends up just being 1.08. Notice because we're dividing by 1. And it's just to the first power. So again, it's just 1.08. And we're going to subtract 1. So we're going to get 0.08, which is 8%. And suddenly you guys are like, seriously? That was a lot of work to end up with exactly the same thing. And the answer is, well, yeah, but we could have talked about this ahead of time. and I intentionally didn't because I want you to be all like, whoa, look at that. Oh, it's so amazing. Wow, you're the best math teacher ever. Yay. Best math teacher ever. Yay. Okay. And so what's going on here is if we're compounding annually, then we're not getting any extra compound interest in a year. And so the nominal rate up here is the same as the APY. So then you say, well, yeah, okay, but that's this is going to be a really boring fast section. And I said, yeah, let's move on. So compounding monthly, remember that that means that M equals, you got it, 12. Okay, let me find yet another color. Let's see if you guys can see. Can you see that? Yeah. Oh no, smear monster. Let me smash and smear. That's my game plan. Well, that's not too bad. The green doesn't smear very much at all. I have to remember that. I have a feeling that I've said that before and I keep forgetting. APY is 1 plus 0.08 all over minus 1. Now, notice I'm being clever. I'm going to put the green in first. Ha-ha! No smearing, no muss, no fuss. Okay, now this is not going to be nice. So I'm going to do this one on the calculator. Here, bring in my calculator. What is that? The remains of the problem I just did when I went through this exact same lecture 5 times? What? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, open parentheses. 1 plus 0.08 divided by 12, close parentheses, raised to the power 12, and then subtract 1. And we get, I'm going to have to turn this so I can actually see it. You guys can see it. The funny thing is I can't. I'm going to move this little off to the side. 0.082999507. Now, interest rates in general are rounded to 3 decimal places in percentage form. What does that mean? Well, first we put it in percentage form. So I move the decimal point 2 places and I get 8.2999507%. And then we want to look to 3 decimal places. And so I'm going to round that 9. Now this is going to be a cascading, right? Because the 9 is going to say, okay, this rounds up, but if this rounds up, then this rounds up, then everybody rounds up. So we've got approximately 8.3%. So what does that mean? Well, that means that if you compound monthly, you're going to end up with an extra 0.3% interest from the compounding. That's the effect of the compounding. So if your loan is at 8% compounded monthly, you're actually paying an APY of 8.3%. Kind of cool. So you can compare the different percentages. What if we do 8% compounded continuously? Well, this one is the easier formula. E to the R minus 1 because we're in continuous land, so we're in exponential land. So that's going to be e to the 0.08 minus 1. Where is it? I've lost it. There we go. E to the 0.08, close my parentheses. Now, for those of you who have newer calculators, your calculator, when you actually use the e to the x, brings you up into the exponent. You want to be really careful because if you don't pull yourself back down again, the minus 1 ends up being in the exponent and it'll give you really wonky solutions. Okay, so I got 0.083287068 and some other things. So that's 8.32870 and such percent. And then I have to go to 3 decimal places. So I'm looking at the 7. It says to knock the 8 up 1. So this is going to be 8.329%. So if you compound continuously, you'll get a smidge more, right? And this is the upper limit. This is the most you can compound. So the most an 8% interest rate would be an APY of 8.329. So every 8% interest rate, any compounding schema you use, will sit somewhere between 8 and 8.329%. Okay, so last question. This is my question. I don't think the book ever asked you this, but I think it's a good question. When would 8% be a better choice for an investment than 8.25%? And the answer is, well, if 8.25% is simple interest, sorry, or compounded annually, then you'd get less than if you earn 8% compounded monthly. Can you guys see this? It's tiny, teeny. I've run out of room. Or more. I decided to get long-winded. I was just going to write very little English here, but I thought, you know what? Let's go with English. It's early. I'm feeling, edgy. I'm ready for an adventure. Let's try some English. Okay, so if 8.25% is simple interest or compounded annually, then you'd get less than if you earn 8% compounded monthly or more, because compounding monthly looks like 8.3%, and compounded continuously, anything up to continuously, is 8.329. So hopefully that makes sense. Nicely done. You stuck with me. Woohoo! There you go. Math on, guys. Math on.